All right, Miles, let's talk Alabama Crimson Tide here for a little bit. Obviously, Alabama's in a little bit of a transition period right now. Of course, they're trying to integrate a new quarterback. Bryce Young is going on to the NFL, will be a very top draft pick in just a matter of weeks at this point. So obviously, it's sort of an offseason to change for Alabama. But we have reports about a potential breakout new weapon on the Alabama Crimson Tide that could be just what the fans have been hoping for these past few seasons.
Yeah, Nick, I think Alabama is on the right track to get back to where they want to be. Where Alabama is right now, we say they're down, is most teams' goal to get to where Alabama is right now. Alabama, of course, expects to win national championships every year. So there's a little bit different expectations down in Tuscaloosa. But as spring ball has been going on, Nick, I want to keep asking people who is somebody you're looking forward to as a breakout in spring ball. I think there's a lot of interesting players to keep an eye on. Is there anyone that you have seen so far that you think is really going to add a lot of value to this team as spring ball has progressed? Let us know down in the comments below. But Nick, who is potentially another breakout star this spring ball season?
Yeah, so far in Alabama, as spring practice has rolled through, there is one guy that is grabbing all the headlines, and that is transfer wide receiver Malik Benson. This is a guy who's been absolutely dominating. He's been pressed with everyone with his size, his hands, and of course his route running and natural athletic ability. And this is according to 24/7. I'm sorry, FanSided. Excuse me. Quote: Benson comes to Tuscaloosa from Hutchinson Community College as the number one ranked JUCO transfer from the 2023 cycle. The 6'1", 185-pound receiver was wildly productive as a big play threat in 2 years with Hutchinson, catching 102 balls for 2,206 yards and 21 touchdowns over 23 games, good for 21.6 yards per reception as an average, and an average almost 100 yards and a touchdown per game. All right, Miles Benson, when I've seen the highlights of him, and I've seen him so far in Alabama in terms of spring ball, which is very limited, but when I look at him, he looks like a special guy. He looks like a combo between Jerry Jeudy. He's got Jerry Jeudy's size, route running, that kind of talent in his hands, with Henry Ruggs' speed, quickness, and athleticism, which is obviously high praise. But with seeing him so far in pads and seeing his highlights from his JUCO days, he looks like he's that kind of elite level talent. I honestly think Alabama Crimson Tide fans will be blown away with how good this guy has come fall. Give me your thoughts on everything with this new playmaker from Alabama and just this offense with Bill O'Brien behind the helms. What do you think here?
This guy is incredible, Nick, because coming out of high school down in Lansing, he had no stars. He had no national recognition, no rankings whatsoever. Nobody wanted him. He goes to the JUCO, Nick, and he comes out towards Alabama. Now he's a four-star guy, a really high composite score, number one player in JUCO in the country, number one wide receiver, number one player in the state of Kansas. This guy has really just shown that you can come from nowhere. If you go to JUCO, it is a good enough system now, especially with the transfer portal, especially with NIL, that you can go there, ball out, show everyone what you're made of. You put your nose to the grindstone. You can come out and be a top tier prospect, Nick. Because we were talking about Alabama, who's going to be the next guy to break out of the receiver room. I think this is the guy, Nick. I think he can come and be the guy that Alabama needs him to be a really big time receiver for this program, because he was extremely productive in JUCO. He put up a lot of numbers. He's a big time, big play threat. I think that he is going to be a very, very good receiver for this Alabama team. And I'm just always happy when I see a guy like him be able to get the chance to go onto the biggest stage after it seems like they've worked their way up from nothing, Nick. This guy seems really special, and I'm sure he's going to stand out on Saturdays.
Yeah, Myson, I want to correct myself real quick. I'm sure a lot of Alabama fans heard my earlier comment about Bill O'Brien almost had a heart attack thinking he was back with the team. I misspoke. Of course, Tommy Rees is their new offensive coordinator. Bill O'Brien has moved on to the Patriots. We were talking Patriots earlier, hence my confusion. But when it comes to a guy like this, Myson, I agree with you 100%, because one of the things about Alabama's program is they have so many four-star, five-star elite guys who have been like superstars since 13, 14 years old, that they really don't have any underdog mentality, it seems. I mean, they try and foster it as best they can. Saban does a great job with that. But it's really hard to cultivate that when your team is full of guys who have been legitimate, all over the recruiting websites since they were like not even going to junior prom, right? That's hard to cultivate an underdog mentality. But here you have a guy who, like you said, Miles, came up from just very little recognition at all, almost no recognition, to build himself up to an elite guy on Alabama. You better believe he's got a chip on his shoulder. And I think a guy with that mentality, the stick-to-itiveness, the energy, the drive, the focus to get where he is now from where he was before is contagious and will help infect that locker room and that offense and really kind of drive them hopefully back to the college football playoff. So I think his talent level on the field is incredibly high, but I think you bring up a great point. His background will also play a role as well, driving this football team forward. All in all, this guy looks like a perfect fit for what the Alabama Crimson Tide offense has been looking for, just what the doctor ordered. This guy's going to be special.